it's not just in the United States. I was teaching a class in Costa Rica, and it was a workshop. And we actually went out to the technology area where all the technology companies were, like Microsoft and HP and whomever, and the trash cans were in public location. So we wanted to see what we would find, and I was kind of curious in a foreign country. So they said, yeah, look for Userio and Clave. And we're looking for like 30 minutes and say, hey, here's a list. It turned out that one of the companies, one of the respected brands actually threw out a list of username and passwords in their trash. And this was in Costa Rica. So it does happen in Central and South America, I'm sure. In every social engineering attack, there's certain properties. In every attack, the bad guy establishes an identity and a role, who they're going to be for the attack. The more challenging factor is the situation, the story. What excuse or story or situation they're going to create that's plausible to gain compliance. The third factor is building the target's trust and confidence that you are who you claim to be, and you're authorized to make this request. The attacker also wants to build rapport through influence tactics, such as liking that I explained to you. And this is in one case where an attacker is preparing for the attack. Don't forget, people are going to make objections, especially when you're asking them to do sensitive things. So the attacker, before the actual call, will actually prepare answers to overcome those objections. So it's actually a very prepared attack. Let's say that the victim is not going for it. They're not gullible. They don't believe what you're saying. The attacker wants to back out of that situation. It's called not burning the source, is the terminology. And what that means is you want to back out of the request eloquently, so that person does not report it to their manager or supervisor. Why? Because of most attacks that use social engineering, if a person doesn't comply, the attacker just goes to the next person, then the next person, and the next person, until they get what they want. So when I talk about when I talk about incident response in a couple slides, you'll understand why that's important. So this is probably stuff you don't care about because this is not the type of corporate conference. This is more a corporate type social engineering speech. I see some people with suits and ties in the audience, so maybe they'll be interested. How do you stop social engineering? That's what they want to do. How do you help businesses and people become more resistant to it? Well, I did some work with the top social science scientists in the United States, and it's been their opinion that the best way to get people to resist social engineering is by social engineering them and then letting them know after. So for example, you're in a company and you have a security awareness training program. And before the training program takes place, you want to be able to target certain people in the training program to see if they're susceptible. And if they are, during the training program, you kind of lay out all the cards on the table. Hey, remember when you got that call from Joe in IT last week and you typed this into your computer? That was Fred here over in security. And because you did that, he gained access to your computer. That really wakes people up. And they get this aha moment that it could really happen to me. Because don't forget, the number one vulnerability is that illusion of having that illusion of invulnerability. Do you guys have problems with telemarketers here in Bogota? People that call you on the phone and try to sell you stuff that you don't want? One of the reasons social engineering is so effective is people have a hard time saying no. It's very uncomfortable to turn somebody down when they're asking you for help. It's just natural. So I got to share this with you because this is a device that some genius invented in America. And this was because people could not say no to telemarketers. And what this device is, it's called the telephone butler. And let me tell you how you set it up. You take this phone line, you plug it into your phone. You take your phone, you plug it into here, really simple. And when you get a phone call, you still have to answer it. It takes human interaction, and you answer it. And if somebody you don't want to talk to, like a telemarketer, your old girlfriend or boyfriend, you have to press the star on the touch-tone phone. The telephone butler kicks in and says, "The party you have reached does not wish to talk to you. Please do not call back." So you have to really think about that. Why would people spend $50, what is it, 100,000 pesos, to say no, I don't want to talk to you? You have to really think about that, right? It's because it's hard to say no. And social engineers know this. So in your training program in your company, you might want to let employees know that it's okay to say no until you verify the request, their identity, and that they're authorized. Or you could buy them the telephone butler for $50 each. It's up to you. Social incident response. Remember I told you that the attacker just calls the next person, and the next person, and the next person? So what you want to do is develop a plan in your company that teaches people to identify a potential social engineering attack. And then if they do, they don't have to really be trained, but they just refer it to the security department or to some individual that knows about this stuff. And if they determine there's a real threat, what their job is to alert everybody in the company via voicemail, via email, hey, we have somebody calling us over the phone, or emailing us, or using instant messenger to ask employees to do this. Don't do it, right? And hopefully, by having this identification, okay, by identifying the threat, by teaching people to document what is being asked, and by alerting everybody that that will help them not fall for it when the hacker tries to call the next guy. And finally, the human firewall.